Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I have the good fortune to be interviewing the smart networker himself, Dave Rolfe. And we're here today to talk about all things networking, busting up, clearing up some of the myths in regards to network marketing and his 10 key lessons. Dave, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Seth. It's nice to be here. Looking forward to our conversation today.
All right, so let's go back in time just a little bit. How did you get into the business in the first place?
Well, as a young man, I had worked in a variety of very interesting places. My first job was making ice in Winnipeg, Canada. And my mother had worked for this company many, many years ago. And of course, ice was, you put in a package and et cetera, et cetera. So when it was 90 degrees, I was working in a 30 degree or below environment 8 hours a day. And it just wasn't a fun thing. And I kind of got the idea that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. But I wasn't sure where to go. And then I was curious when I was in my 20s, and I found I was looking at the tabloid magazines, and in the back of the tabloids back in the day with all kinds of advertisements with business opportunities. And I searched, and I found this product that came from California called Nature's Nougats. And it was a health food bar, and it was very appropriate to the time of, health food stores starting. I thought, okay, I'll import this product, I'll sell it to the health food stores, and away we go. And I'm in this store and talking to this gal, and I'm presenting my presentation. And out behind this beaded doorway, this guy comes out and he says, "Wow, that was the best presentation I ever heard." And of course, being very naive and not understanding what was going on, I thought to myself, "Whoa, what have I done?" And then he says, "Well, is this the only product you represent?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, how would you like to represent hundreds?" Well, of course, my mind went berserk, and I thought, this is great. And he invited me to a meeting. And the meeting was an Amway meeting. No idea what Amway was at that time, 1975. Just won a federal court case to prove that it was legitimate. And this guy on the stage, his name is Jim Jantz, one of the most successful Amway distributors, was making the presentation. I'm the only guy in the audience. Halfway through the presentation, he says, "Dave, just imagine this. You owned a Coca-Cola machine on every corner of every street, and every time somebody bought a Coke, you made a nickel. That's what we have." And I just sat back in my chair, and I was in Wonderland. And that's basically that got me started and created a lifelong career in network marketing.
Well, that is an absolutely incredible story, and you've been doing it a very long time. So let's talk about what you're up to now.
Well, now I teach and mentor mostly. Written a couple of books. I've traveled the world. I have a training program, all of that sort of stuff. And the bottom line is I, help other people understand how they can make this work. And what's really fascinating, Seth, is the way society has gone. The illiteracy rate in our country is really low. People don't read anymore. And in a sense, they're essentially becoming less educated. So they're utilizing the internet to tell them what to do. It's really fascinating. And as a result of that, they're not enriching themselves with knowledge, and because knowledge is power. and they're not taking advantage of something that could change their lives dramatically. And so my job, what I do right now, is take those that are in a situation where they need to do something, they need to earn a living. Maybe they're not a rocket scientist, and maybe they don't have that genius idea of creating a new product or a new idea, but they're, middle America, and they want to create a better life for themselves and their family. So that's what I help them do.
Awesome. And how long has it been since you made the switch from, let's say, direct sales and recruiting a downline into, your coaching and mentorship?
About 24 years ago.
Okay, so you've been at this a while.
Yeah.
What do you think? What inspires you to write "Playing the Game: 10 Key Lessons to Fuel Success and Clearing Up the Myths of Network Marketing"?
Well, it's I love to help people. And again, mankind needs help. If we look at what's going on in the world today, it's a pretty pathetic place for a lot and the majority of people. The numbers of there are what 8.2 billion people on this planet, and how many are successful, it's just staggering differences. And so I think we've lost sight of who we are as a humanity on this small little ball in this universe that's vastly huge. So my objective is really to help other people. And again, I was helped, and I appreciated that help, and it opened the door to look at something I had no idea existed. And once I looked at it for what it was, understood it for what it was, learned how to take advantage of it, well, then I could control my destiny, which is, I think, what everybody's really trying to do, is control their own life.
Absolutely. And we want people to go get your 10 key lessons, but let's tease them a little bit. What are some of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to getting into something like a network marketing program?
Well, I think the first thing is they assume they know what they need to know. They don't get educated. They don't learn how to communicate or what to say properly. They don't understand the economics. These are just a few of them. And one of the biggest things. Okay, so I was rolling along very nicely. I stopped doing the business in about 1999. I wrote my first book called Vested Interest, which was a very mechanical process of, this is a business just like Ford or GM or any business in the world, where you have a product that you produce and you create a result and you monitor your activities. If you spend more than you make, you go broke. I mean, it's really simple. This isn't a difficult thing. The benefit of what we do was based on the structure that we have. And it's kind of like the penny double theory. And I'm sure you've heard that a gazillion times. And so if you understood the structure and you understood where to work and you understood what the activities were, then you could make it work. So I took the company that I was with it's called Nikin. It's been around since 1975, and we took it up. I did, over $1 billion in my organization alone, probably helped the company do 4 or 5 billion in about an 8-year period of time. And so I had this huge residual income. And for me, middle America, wasn't, rich. I was, doing really good. And so I decided to go play, got involved with real estate, got involved with helping other companies, started a couple other businesses, and it's essentially work from home and et cetera, et cetera. So again, I ended up getting cancer. And in that mode, it was like, okay, it was a stage 2. It was very serious, a small cell. I went to the doctors. I went, got my chemo, did all that, had the operation, and been cancer free now for, I think, 7, 8 years. And I was totally away from doing the business at that time because I had the economics to take care of myself and I didn't have to worry. But when I came back, I started to see a change because I monitor my managed by statistics. So I started to see a drastic change in what was happening in the business. And I was curious. And here's what I found out. And this is one of the first key lessons was there was an incredible inability to communicate what people had so that others understood what they had. And so therefore, there was just this disconnect. I've listened to a couple of your podcasts to get a flavor of the type of people you've had on your shows. And I really like the one about Nathan Lane because I think he's an incredible guy. I love some of his acting abilities are incredible. But anyway, again, it's an aptitude situation. So a lot of people get into this thinking that everybody can do this. Not true. This isn't for everybody. This is just like being a heart surgeon or being a professional football player or baseball player. If you have the aptitude, this is for you. And one of the key skills is communication. And one of the first things you got to learn is how to communicate. And that was inherent in me, but I didn't know it. It took a while to develop it. But that would be the first answer I'd give on that question.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think you got to start with the mindset, right? It's the most important thing. If you get that wrong, it doesn't matter how great the opportunity of the product is, you're not going to get to where you need to go, right?
Yeah. And it's kind of like if you owned a piece of property and you want to build a house on it, what do you got to do? You're probably not, for the most part, going to build it yourself. You're not going to do the architectural work. You're not going to create the plans. So you're going to go to the right people. And I think the mistake that people make is they don't do that. And they don't go to the right people. They don't go to the horse, get the information. And one of the things that I'm going to suggest to your audience, if anybody is interested, we can have a conversation. I don't care, an hour, 2 hours, whatever time it takes to get you to understand what we have. Here's what I can't do. I can't force you to do this. It doesn't work. I can't browbeat you to do this. It doesn't work. I can't hard close you to do this. It doesn't work. You have to be self-determined based on the information that you learn, and then it's your impetus that's going to make it work, not mine. I'll show you everything you need to know. I'll show you what you shouldn't do, what you should do, and give you that thing. But it's up to you to create your life, your future, utilizing this vehicle.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. We know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. Where can our folks go to get playing the game, 10 key lessons to fuel success and clearing up the myths of network marketing, and to learn more about you?
Well, I created a special website. It's called besmarterwithdave.com. And you just go there, you log on, and you can set up an appointment. You get the free downloads. And also, if you further, you'll get the copy of the book. And then the second book I wrote, which the Smart Networker, can also be available as well.
Awesome. Love the domain. This has been Seth Greene for Sharkpreneur with Dave Rolfe of besmarterwithdave.com. Dave, thanks again for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome, Seth. Hope you have a great day. Looking forward to what happens.
You too. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.